Yo, this is it. I'm Mr. Fade, and you're listening to Attack of the Beats on IllMuzik.com. 5 beats, 5 reviews. That's what I do. And before I get into it, make sure you check out the Beat This competition coming up. It's going to be good because we have no theme, which means that the beats are going to be fire emoji going on right here. And so 2 minutes. Let's see what you can do if you want to enter. Make sure that you bring some heat, because it's going to be lit. Do people still say that? Whatever. All right, let's get into it. First up, we've got You're the Superstar with Let My People Go. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Air the Superstar with Let My People Go. All right, so for this one, I really like the beginning, those smooth keys. Sounds like kind of like an organ or something. And I thought you were going to continue with that all the way through. I mean, I think you should, but whatever. I mean, for what you have, okay, let's just say you keep that, okay. It sounds good because it sounds psychotic. That's what I like about it. And the drums are on point. I would say what you need to do is to thicken up the kick a bit and leave the snare as is. Okay, the music you have, it sounds, like I said, it sounds psychotic. Sounds like really, scary or something. So I would add in some gun sound effects. Cocking the gun, shooting the gun, whatever, and that would really, make a point, right, with this beat. I mean, make it sound like even more psycho or something, and then definitely add a bass line. So that's what I was saying. Thicken up the kick. Add some sort of bass line, nothing complicated, just something, or just have an 808 or something. Just have an 808 on, every few kicks or so, and that would just bring more of the low end up, and add that with that psycho music, and you'll have yourself a winner there. So, but I would like to hear, what you could do with the beginning part, so because that sounded really smooth and all that. But for what you have though, it's psycho. I just think you need to beef up the low end a little bit there, and that's it. All right, so next up we've got Fury Beats with the Bush 2020. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Fury Beats with the Bush 2020. Look, man, it's only 45 seconds. Where's the rest of the beat? I want to hear the rest of it, man. It's only 45. But look, I mean, I know that sample, and I think you have something really good there when you have that main loop, right? So I would say keep that part, because the other part of the sample where you have that guitar and stuff, I don't think it really blends well with the rest of it. But that main loop, definitely keep that. And then add some drums. Like, where's the drums, you know? I mean, yeah, okay, some people, you know, they want to make a beat, no drums, that's fine. No, that's cool. In this case, though, because I'm listening to this loop, and I'm thinking Mobb Deep, right? I'm thinking like 90s Mobb Deep. That's it. That's what's in my head when I listen to this, right? So if you add some killer drums on this, make sure you put some saturation on those drums to really beef it up, make it sound crazy with that main loop, then you'd be gold with that. Oh, for sure, man. But definitely I want to hear more of that, because if you do that, but 2 minutes, because right now it's only 45 seconds. And then, like I said, that part with the guitar, yeah, it doesn't really blend too well with the main loop that you have. But yeah, just make those changes. Add some killer drums on that main loop, man, and then you can add in like some other sound effects or something, maybe some background noise, like some thunder or something, and see where that takes it. But you know, still, yeah, it's just those changes, and you'd be good to go. All right, so next up we got Onicaf with the Interlude Part 2. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Onicaf with the Interlude Part 2. Now this one, you know, you have that beginning part, which I thought, you know, you're going to make some kind of club beat or something. But you know what? That's what's great about hip hop, is that you can take basically anything and turn it into something, right? So in your case, yeah, that was really good. I mean, it sounded like some kind of club track was coming up, but instead you flipped it and turned it into this nice beat. And I really like the whole beat overall. The production's very, very good. It's tight. The mixing's clean. And the only part was that when you brought in the guitar, I was thinking to myself, well, it doesn't really blend with the rest of the beat, you know. But then as I kept listening to it, yeah, it does. But I think what it is, it's the bass line. I think it's kind of out of tune with the bass line slightly. And I think it's because, like, when you have that guitar, you don't have that beginning synth part, right? You don't have that with the guitar. You take the synth part out when you bring in the guitar. So I'm thinking, what if you take the guitar and the synth, match them up, get them in the right tune, like the guitar in the same tune as the synth. That way you can match up the guitar with the bass, because that main synth, it matches up with the bass, but the guitar, like I said, just slightly off. I mean, maybe it's just me, but that's what I hear. It's like, it just sounds like it's just slightly off from the bass. And maybe it just means that when you bring in the guitar part, you just have to, you know, bring the bass line up a notch, something like that, you know, a different key. I don't know, but try that. And but other than that, though, it's a really solid beat. I really like it, and yeah, just maybe a couple of little alterations, and you'd be good to go. All right, so next up we've got Skid Flow with Sauce Pica. Is that what it is? Sauce Pica. All right, let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Skid Flow with Sauce Pica? Sauce Pica? Or Sauce Pica? I don't know, whatever. All right, so with this one, I like this because, first of all, the it's very well done, the beat, and you have a nice low end. I like how you have all these random sounds coming in and out. You know, that like synth horn thing off to the right, that's up and down and stuff. Yeah, that sounds really, really good. And I think the only drawback was the drums, you know, and namely the kick, because you know you have like the drums themselves sound thin, you know, and I guess in theory when you have a thin drum track and then you have a bass to go with that, you know, it's like the bass is helping the drums, so it's okay. But I still believe in having, you know, like some heavy drums to go with the bass, right, to match up with the bass. Not too muddy, obviously, but you know what I mean. So, like in your case, the kick does blend well with the bass when it hits together, but then the kick on its own very, very thin. You know, so I'm thinking like because of the other sounds, the way it sounds like you're going somewhere big with this beat. It sounds like something's about to, you know, just something's about to drop. You know, it sounds like this monumental type of beat you have going on, but you know, it's just instead you just have the same drum track going through these thin drums. So I'm thinking, you know, it'd be best to use those drums as a kind of like an intro. You know, then you bring in the real drums. You know, you're like, boom, motherfucker! Like here's your real drums right in your ear. You know, something like that. You know what I mean? So like just, or like have these drums and then have like, you know, something else, like another drum track on top. You know, like or in the background or something just to complement it. I don't know, something to beef up the drums to match up with the low end. You know what I mean? Because I think that's one of the things that I have a problem with when. You know, when I hear these beats that have, you know, like some thin drums like that, but then you have like an 808, let's say. So the 808 doesn't come in like all the way through. It's like just like one 808 hit. Then you got the drums by themselves. And, you know, sometimes the drums, yeah, sometimes they need to be thin. That's fine, you know. But just taking your case, because the rest of the music, the rest of the sounds, I'm expecting this, like, you know, this should be like this big hard hitting beat. To me, I mean, it's weird because it's smooth, but it should be hard hitting at the same time. I think so. But maybe try that. Just try to have like an intro with these drums, and then all of a sudden bring in the real drums. And yeah, that's it. All right. So next up, we've got The Sire Beats with On Time. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was the Sire Beats with On Time. Now this one, I think you submitted this one to the Beat This competition when we had the rock guitar, if I'm not mistaken. And I must say though, the drums and the low end on point. No complaints about that. That shit's dope. I like it, especially the drums, because when you're sampling rock, like you want to make sure you don't have some like weak ass drums or something, or like just something whatever, just something basic or something. You want to make sure they sound like rock drums and stuff. So in your case, yeah, they sound really, really good. Like I said, the low end is there. And I love the piano loop that you have from the sample. And of course, all the vocal snippets. I think the snippets could have been a little less, like you played around with it a few times here and there. Not a big deal. But I think the main thing was the guitar, when you brought in that guitar. The thing with rock music is, I like to sample that stuff too. But from my experience, I like to pick my spots, like really, because it's too easy to say, okay, I'm just going to sample this rock track, and you can just go nuts with it, because there's so many sounds going on, especially with guitar, right? Like a hard hitting song like that. So, I what I mean by pick my spots is that, you don't have to necessarily take that lead guitar as is, so in your case, it sounds very choppy the way you chopped it up and all that. So, one thing you could do is like if you want to make it more fluid, right? The rock guitar, if you want to have it more fluid over the rest of your track, I would recommend, if you have the time. Okay, so if you have the time, get it anyway. To go and actually kind of like recreate that guitar, with like, let's say like a plugin or something. Okay, so like that way you could just play it nice and fluid, like it just, it'll just resonate all the way through and stuff, instead of having like this choppy sample, so you could do that, but if you're going to stick with the samples, I mean, there's a bunch of different things you could do. It depends on the sample, of course, but, what I like to do when I sample stuff like that is, like, if you have a short guitar part like that you really want to use, I would take that, maybe the little end part of it, chop it off, and then just like extend it out, and unless you do time stretching or something, but you don't really want to do that in this case. So maybe just have like the little end part, just kind of like continue on, like maybe like a little delay with it, or just like kind of layer it with some other part of the track. You know what I mean? So you have that piano looping in the background, and a lot of times I use that kind of trick. Like I'll have an instrument in the background just looping all the way through, so that fills up any gaps you hear. But in this case, you can't really do that because it's like this hard, like loud guitar, you know. So it's like it's very noticeable, the chop and the gaps, you know. So that's why you could recreate it, like I said, with a plugin, or just try to, you know, flip it a little better, like chop it, you know, like chop it off a little more, like just to try to extend that space, you know, so that you don't have this gap, you know. But I mean, that's if you want to have it fluid. If you want to have it like this, that's fine, because it really, you know, it really is dope as is. It's just that I just think, like, for me, I like to always have something like more fluid, you know. So but for what you have here, yeah, it's really dope. Like I said, the rest of it's really, really good. It's just that rock, I keep saying rock, but it's just that guitar part. It's just like a little choppy, but other than that, though, it's really dope. I like it. All right, so that's it from me. I'm Mr. Fade. This is Attack of the Beats. Keep sending your beats in. I'll keep reviewing them. And my favorite beat is, the winner is, drum roll please, On a Calf, the interlude part 2. Let's check it out.